back to Tech Tricks of Fundamentals, and today we'll be learning structures in C. So what are structures? Structures are used to combine different data items into one object. And if you've ever done other languages like Java, so structures are very similar to classes in Java. So as you can see here, this is what a structure is. You define a structure and you define data fields, and you can call structures in terms of today and Monday, or any other wish you want. So this way you can declare a month, day, and year for today and Monday separately. To do this without structures, you would have to do so by indicating 6 variables, which would be less efficient and more time consuming. So how do you initialize a structure? So structures are initialized by adding the keyword struct in front of your name, and inside you define data fields. So in this case we have struct date, which is our structure name, and inside we define our data field, which is month, day, and year, and you end it with a semicolon. So defining values inside a structure. So to do this, you have to create an instance first with the structure name and then your name that you wish, and then you have to assign values either through num.variable is equal to a or another method that I'll show you soon. So as you can see here, we have the keyword struct, we have our structure name date, which we defined earlier, and with instance name today. And inside this, we will be saying today.month is 9, today.day is 25, and today.year is 2015. So what this does is stores something like this, where inside one instant today, you have a month, day, and year, which are 3 different variables, 9, 25, and 2015. So, but a more efficient way of declaring it is by saying structure date today is 9/25/2015. So this 9 goes into month, 25 goes into day, and 2015 goes into year. So you can also pass structures inside functions. So you can pass the instance of the structure when calling the function, and when defining the function, you have to make a new instance in the parameter. So as you can see here, we make a structure called students with the ID and grade, and we create an instance in the name of John, and we pass this into our function, just the instance. As you can see here, format John. And inside our function, we have character, format, and you have the struct student input. So this instance is the John that is being passed inside the structure. And over here, we can return the input.grade plus input.id as a character string. Finally, you can also have arrays inside structures, or you can pass structures as arrays. So as you can see here, we have our normal structure definition, which is struct date. And when we name it January, instead of just naming it January, you indicate January 3 because you have 3 instances arrays. And inside you have your semicolon opening for the struct date, and you have 3 instances of January, or 3 data fields of January, as you can see right here. And when you call it, you would call it by doing January1.month. So what this would do is take the second element in January and indicate the month of that. So as you can see, the second element in January is 1/15/2022, and our month is 1 because we defined it earlier. Okay, so now that we know how functions and structures work together, let's make a quick program that tells us what the least price is of an object in 3 different stores. So we want to start off. You're going to start off by declaring your standard input output, and you want to have your main function. So this is our main function. So now we want to declare our structure. So we'll declare our structure as a global structure right here. We'll have So this is a structure called inventory, and we have 3 data fields here, which is our product name, which is a string. We have indicated 30 here just in case it's a large product name. We have our price as an integer and our ID as another integer. Okay, so now that we have this, let's start making the program. So inside our main function, we want to make sure that we have the instances that we're calling the structure. So we're going to do that by struct inventory, and let's have a store called target. And let's just say you want to have 3 items inside that store. So which is equal to table, which is $50, and the ID is 123. And then we have a mouse, which is $30, and its ID could be 456. And finally, we have a book, which is $5, and its ID is 789. And you want to finish, declare it like this, and there you go. We have one instance of our structure called. So we want to do this for 3 stores, so let's do the same thing. We have our semicolon, don't forget that. Let's just copy and paste it for 3 different stores. Just like this, and of course let's change this to Walmart and change this to Costco. Okay, and since we keep these the same, we want to change up the values. So we'll make this 60. We'll make this 40. And we'll make this 3. We'll leave this one 5. We'll change this to 30. And we'll change the mouse to 50. So we have different values for all of them. So now we want to take the user's input as to see what they would want to input, which item they want to find the price of. So you want to declare a variable, char input item, and you want to declare it to size 10 to assume that the user is going to enter one of these. So these are all 4 and 5, so which is all less than 10, so we'll be fine. So now you want to print and tell them to enter the item you want information for. And now we want to do the scanf to get user input. So we do scanf %s and %i input item. Since we have this, our main loop is almost done. So we have this, and so now what we want to do is we just want to have the function call after we define the function and print it out. So now let's start defining the function over right under the structure. So over here we have our integer function, which is going to return an integer value. We'll name it minimum price, and we'll have a structure of inventory target, and let's just copy paste this for all of them. And then we have our char, which is our input from the user, like this. So this is, we have a Target, then we have Walmart, and finally we have Costco. And this is the user input. Okay, so using this, now we want to, inside our function, we want to find the minimum price. So first you declare a variable called integer min price, which will hold price value and will also end up returning this variable. So, and then return min price. So this is returning the integer. So now we want to navigate through the target each time and find out, so if the user were to put table, we want to find out which has table, and we want to add that to the price. So you do this by a for loop. So you declare for integer I is equal to 0, I is less than 3, and I is equal to I plus 1, which is our for loop definition as we learned earlier. And then we have our if loop, and then we want to compare strings. So right here what we want to do is string compare function into target I dot product, and you want to compare it with the input that the user enters. So we have this, and if this is equal to 0, then we want to store min price is equal to target of I dot price. So what this does is this compares these two strings. Target dot product is, so let's just say I is 0, so it'll be target of the first one dot product, is that equal to the input? If the user were to enter table, it is, then it would return 0 if it's true, and our minimum price would be the first price instant in target. And to use this string compare this, since this is not a built-in function, you want to include the string library. So include string.h. There. So this function works. So now we have one minimum price, but we want to check minimum price across Walmart and Costco too. So we want to have the same function. Let's copy paste it. So we have the function, except now inside our if loop, if this is equal matching price, we want to check that this price is less than what we already have. So let's change this to Walmart first. And over here, let's add an if loop, another if loop. So if our Walmart I dot price is less than minimum price, then our minimum price becomes Walmart of I dot price. So this way we have a minimum price added inside the variable, and if the Walmart price of that same item is less than what is already in the minimum price, that gets added into the minimum price because that is the minimum price. So this way we want to have the same thing for Costco too. So you just copy, since it's essentially doing the same thing, you just paste it and replace Walmart with Costco. So you want to be careful while doing this, because if you accidentally forget a certain Walmart, you can mess up the whole function. So it's better to just type it out, but if you wish, you could also just copy paste it and replace it. So now our function scans across all of them and finds the minimum price and returns the minimum price. So since you have function, finally the last step we need to do is call the function. So we're going to go down here, and you want to printf the final results, and since our function is an integer function, we're returning it into %i form. So %i, and over here we pass our variables inside the minimum price function. So we call it minimum price, we call the function, and inside here we declare our variables. So inside here we're passing the Target, Walmart, and Costco instances, and we're passing what the user inputs right here. So I'm going to do Target, Walmart, Costco, and input item. Okay, so we're done with the program, and now we have to run it to see if it works. So we click run, and as it compiles the program, we see on line 10 there is an error that says something is wrong with the integer, as indicated by this arrow. So we scroll up to line 10, and we see that this function definition is perfect. Actually, what's happening here is our structure that we defined right above the function does not have a semicolon, so it does not know its ending. So it believes that this is part of the structure, which is not true. So we add a semicolon here, and we run it, and there you go. So let's just say we want the price for book, so the least price is 3. So you enter book, and it gives you 3. You're going to run it again for tables. As you can see, the least price here is 30 for table. So you put in table, and we get 30. Finally, let's run it for the last one, the mouse. And the least price for the mouse is 30, as you can see. So mouse is 30. So as you can see, the program works. What you can do to make it more complicated is, in our function, make it indicate which store is the least price and then return that. So that way we know that the price is this, X30, and it's coming from this store. Alright guys, that's all we have for today. Make sure to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Thanks, bye.